Yo, how's everyone doing? So, I have another matchup chart video. So obviously Sin is a completely different character. The game is completely different. The power level has generally been toned down. So, you know, the game's in a weird spot where, I mean, there's one best character in the game, and then from there it's kind of black and white on who really comes after that. But I want to, talk about, from someone that's been playing a lot of Sin, a lot of ranked, obviously hitting #1 with him and whatnot, and, just fighting kind of every character in the cast. I want to give my opinion on how he feels this patch for certain characters. Again, I think that there'll be, I think it's kind of, I don't think there's any too crazy of opinions, but I guess I'll leave that to whoever's watching. Okay, well, first, before I even start, let me describe the tier. So I have winning hard, winning even, losing bad, and this is like Doom tier. Like, how do you even lose? Like, this matchup, like, the other person just should, like, they should not lose. Like, Sin shouldn't even get the time of day to even be in the same game as the other character. For the winning hard tier, it's like Sin can be very ignorant. They have to play according to you. These characters do have win cons, but like they just cannot like if they want to win, they just have to like not let Sin play the game at all. Like they have to win round start, and from there just steamroll so hard and get really lucky. But for the most part, Sin just can be pretty ignorant with his resources and what he's doing. The winning category. So the winning category, it's toned down. Sin has the advantage, but these characters can get around some of his options. So just slight winning. And then even, I don't really need to explain what even means. For losing, for these characters, Sin just has a hard time overcoming their game plan or just even executing his game plan versus these characters. That could be something like being able to interact in neutral versus certain things, or just trying to get past some of their defensive options, or just Sin not being able to engage in general. And then losing bad is like, Sin has to have like crazy mind-reading fucking powers to beat some of these characters. The goal is to not even let these characters get started. They can kind of just do whatever they want. All of their options just are so good versus Sin's that it's a wash. And then the how do you lose tier is just like, be so for real, bro. Like, there's just no advantages at all. Like, nothing. Like, you can't make these characters respect anything Sin does. But yeah, I don't really know. I guess we'll start with the winning hard tier. So there's 3 characters I'd put in winning hard. And I can kind of group them all together. There he is, 1, 2, and 3. I'd say Zato probably does the best out of all these characters here. Zato's a weird one. Okay, so how do I describe it? These characters win the game by not letting you play, right? They have some good steamroll. Venom probably having the worst steamroll out of all of them. And Zato probably being the best and the close to moving down a tier. But overall, I don't know, they just lose to Sin shit. Almost every aspect of Sin's kit can be used for these characters. Like using Elkhunt to go under Venom's fireball, Beak Driver being good versus Asuka, Beak Driver being used, and so versus Zato, and like Sin's pokes being able to be used versus Zato. They're not the best at killing Eddie, but they work, right? And overall, Asuka's health being a resource. Like, these characters are lower HP, bad defense. Like when Sin gets in versus Zato, like it feels really good, right? Yeah, I mean, they have to hold a lot of what Sin does. The only thing and again, the reason Zato is the closest to being moved down to different tiers is because of Flight JH. Sin just is not great at playing into it, and sadly, this is Zato's playstyle. If you fight as Zato, all they do is run, they backdash, jump, fly, right, randomly, right? It's really annoying, and Sin is actually not great at playing into it, but straight up, Sin does win the matchup. It's just that playstyle can get super tilted in the fight. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. It's just super lame to fight. Sin isn't great at dealing with it, but overall, like the risk reward battle and stuff, like Sin does win. But like again, that playstyle is just, oh my gosh, man, that shit is just so annoying to deal with. But yeah, like when you get your offense, like Asuka's 2P loses to Elkhunt. Like it can't hit Elkhunt. Which is like, Venom, you go under his fireball. They all don't have meterless reversals. They all don't have DPs. Like, when you get in, it's barbecue chicken, bro. Like, shit is good. It feels good to get in, man. And yeah. And then we can go down to winning. So there's 3 characters in winning as well. So I'll put Lucy here, I'll put Johnny here, and I'll put Jacko here. I'll start with Johnny. Man, the big fall from grace, dude. Holy shit. This character, no one plays, bro. Like, I actually think Johnny players just went out and like started focusing on school and like getting jobs and shit, because like they were just like, yeah, no, like this shit don't feel right, bro. I think Sin did okay last patch into Johnny. I thought it was even. So both of them getting shot and then Sin managing to come on top in terms of this matchup is, I guess, good for Sin, obviously. Johnny has to respect a lot of what Sin does on offense and defense, right? Like, it's actually so funny how the days are gone where Johnny could just mash backdash and instantly whiff punish anything into Kardoki. Like, now his backdash is pretty shit, so that's not the case, right? So yeah, now he just has to hold more things. The neutral can be a bit frustrating, but Johnny does have to respect Sin's options like Elk Hunt, for example, so it goes back and forth for the most part. Also, RTL is really good versus Kardoki. So Jacko, I mean, it's like Asuka, but not to the extreme of that, I guess. Jacko still has a few good things going, like a low profile 2K and some strong normals like 5K, for example. But Sin just plays flat out well into her. He's able to special cancel off the minions, which alone is pretty good. It's a pretty big deal. It allows for Sin to take out Jacko's biggest threat, the minions, while also starting his pressure or potentially even starting a combo. So Jacko also just doesn't have that much great, like her defense just is not great, and she also doesn't have that much HP. So Sin is just good at playing into her two-step game plan, so that's why she's here. And then the newest character, Lucy. So Lucy is, I think Sin wins. I think my opinion might be a little premature because, I guess the character's still relatively new, but I don't know. I think just looking at the matchup, Sin just does well. Like, I think Lucy has some frustrating things, like, she's fast, but overall she has like slower normals like you, and they have notable recovery as well, right? She doesn't have these big fat ass red boxes. They're, that are just like quick. They're, slower, not really like big red boxes. They're able, you can deal with them, is what I'm trying to say. They both have DPs as well, and Sin he is much higher up in terms of the HP battle. So Sin's touches are a lot more like meaningful than Lucy's. Yeah, I guess if you wanted to give Lucy an edge, she could win the neutral, but Sin pretty much beats her everywhere else. Now I guess we'll talk about the even matchups. Where do I start? I guess we'll start easy. We'll just go with Kai. I think Kai is even. Kai wins the nooch. So this matchup used to be winning. I think it's even now. I think Kai wins the nooch, but Sin wins everywhere else. I know it seems like Sin could win just based off me saying that, but the neutral is just such a big deal, and Sin just does not win it, unfortunately. Kai, I also think, has higher damage potential, right? Like, some of his RC combos with the CSE is just crazy damage, right? But Sin's just better at cashing out quicker, being able to get wall breaks. His combos and punishes are just more meaningful than Kai's. That's why I said Sin kind of wins everywhere else, but Kai does win the overall neutral battle. And unlike other fireballs, Sin can go under his fireball, right? So Elk Hunt is actually like, and it can be used. One of the good things Kai has in neutral is like the JH bullshit, like, the falling Jade shit, the Danny. So it's good versus Sin, but, overall they both have things that are good versus each other, but due to Kai just winning the neutral so hard, I think it's just even. Next is, let's go with Ram. I think Ram's even. Ram wins the neutral so hard, man. Like, she just blows Sin out in neutral. It is horrible in terms of neutral. A lot of times when you're playing neutral as Sin versus Ram, you will just randomly get counter hit, right? Like, you have to take a lot of risk when it comes to neutral, and like, even like Elk Hunt getting beat by like Far Slash, for example, that'll happen to you pretty often. So you just have to take a lot of risk. It sounds bad, but Sin does have a good time winning from defense versus Ram. Ram has some strings that are just not gapless, so you're able to take advantage of it in DP. And thanks to Sin actually getting Oki off his DP, obviously costs a resource, you're able to get things started. She doesn't have great defense either. Her 2-piece 6 frames, 5-piece 5, 2K 2D somewhat inconsistent. So it's not exactly just, all, happiness and glory when you get in. It's not barbecue chicken good, but it feels good when you're in. You have, like, she has to hold what you do outside of when she has meter, because then, she has more Tabata. But yeah, he just is able to turn his defense into his own pressure. So, and she has lower than average HP, so good. Next up is two that I think most Sin players will actually disagree with me. I'll go Axel and I'll go Mei. So I'll talk about Mei first. So Mei is incredibly punishing to fight if you're not careful. huge ass big red boxes, right? Just fat disjoints that just lead to crazy combos on counter hit. It really makes you wonder how this match could even be even, right? Especially when you add that she's a 4-framer. So again, verse 4-framers, and I'll repeat this, maybe I should have said this earlier, but 4-framers are good versus Sin because his best frame trap, like close slash 6K, which is a 5-frame gap, gets beaten out by the 4-framer, right? And stuff like, you know, when you go into the overhead of the low off 2H, 5-frame gap. So you're forced to use 5H more for the block stun, right? So yeah, she's a 4-framer as well. So it makes you wonder how this shit can even be even. I think her having to interact with Sin, like her having to go to Sin, you know, like she can't win from just running away, right? So they're forced to box. And I think Sin does have a good time with characters when he's able to just box with the character. I think the risk reward is in her favor a bit, but one thing that Sin has going for him is that he has a safe jump versus this character. So post wall break, if you break the wall with barrel or RTL, you're able to actually safe jump the character. And her 6P isn't 9 frames either, so you don't just auto lose. So I really value being able to continue your offense after that, right? So, you know, just being able to box with the character, it can get annoying, it's hard to play, but I think overall it's even. Next up, Axel. Man, most Sin players think this matchup is a joke. I don't think it's that bad. Yeah, again, controversial opinion. I think it's even. It's not so much that Sin plays well into the matchup, but rather that Axel just can universally be countered with smart play. Like, Sin does have issues with certain things, like, you know, obviously his air approach is poor. He's the worst air to ground character in the game. And he has difficulty, like, dealing with the low profile 2K. But, like, you're seeing a trend here, but when Sin gets in, oh man, barbecue chicken, man. I tell you, man, his defense is just not that good. Yeah, he just has to hold anything Sin does, and you will explode if he gets hit. The neutral is not as bad as most people think. Like, I think that people think that this neutral is, like, as bad as, like, fighting Testament neutral, for example, which is just not the case. Like, like, knowing when to jump to take space, knowing when to IB certain things, knowing when to look and punish certain things, like, Axel can be countered. It's not impossible to get in. It's not the hardest thing in the world. It just takes smart, patient play. It takes it's a mental matchup. You just have to be like locked in playing it. I mean, there's also like the silly shit like hoof stomping over 2P or 2H, but don't take me serious. This works like 1/5 of the time. It's not like a realistic like positive in the matchup, but it's a thing. Let's see. Next up, we'll go with Anji. Anji's even. Anji is even. I actually just got done fighting Ooey Gooey yesterday, so I'm kind of fresh off this matchup. Yeah, no, it's actually crazy how Fish becoming negative makes this matchup way more playable. I think Anji's still fresh in to deal with the neutral. He can RPS with different ways like with spin, but his damage and buttons are just so his buttons, man, are so insane. His forward slash is 2P, just insane buttons. So it forces Sin to respect, you know, both his damage and his normal. Sin has to respect it. Sin will effectively just be left using like 2S and pretty much just smart DPs, like in pressure, or like when he's on defense. I mean, those are the two most common things that you'll see versus Anji. I think Sin is more consistent offense than Anji, but when Anji gets 50 bar, it just becomes really annoying to look out for the parry. And Anji having infinite HP doesn't make things easier as well, but it's not like so much like Gold Lewis to the point where it makes it really hard to play into. So Sin can play into it somewhat okay. Let's see. Next we'll go Soul. I mean, I don't really have too much to say about Soul, to be honest. It's good that Sin has a matchup where the other character has to go to him. So I think that's good for Sin. But that doesn't mean it's great, because Soul does have some good options. He has a 4-framer, he's a DP, a 9-framer, and he has his 2D is just really good versus Sin. I think Sin technically wins the neutral, but Soul just has like good options, so I think overall it's just an even matchup. Simple as that. Next up is Unica. I think Unica's even as well. Where do I start with this character? I think Unica does have like strong tools, but I think Sin also has strong tools versus her. I think Unica will have the edge in neutral, maybe, but Sin's ability to punish just feels a little better than Unica's at times. I think Unica also has to respect Sin's DP due to the range, like when she tries to space out the enhanced beam on like Oki, for example, and stuff like that. His DP just being as far as it goes, especially with the way it comes down, is able to get out of some situations that I think other characters just can't. So I think Unica just has to respect her, you know, his DP, but same goes for Sin, obviously. Her in the air, I know she plays in the air a lot, but her in the air feels more manageable for Sin to deal with than it does for other characters when Sin's fighting them. Like, Sin is not great. Like, he is horrible versus characters that are good in the air, but it's manageable versus Unica, thanks to her jump arc. Yeah, Unica and Sin kind of just go back and forth with damage output, so I think overall, just even. It's just even. Let's go with Abba next. So, okay, Abba. This matchup can go from winning to just, like, horrible losing in an instant. It all depends on the jealousy beater and obviously, like, burst, right? Like, you typically want to always win round start in this matchup, which isn't the hardest thing to do because you have some decent options, so it's not the most difficult thing. The issue is when Abba bursts and she just gets in the jealousy for free. This is just, like, there's just no way to avoid it, and Sin can just flat out not deal with jealousy rage at all. Too much recovery on his buttons, too many lingering hurt boxes, you know, big blue boxes. He just cannot deal with anything in jealousy. For the most part, he's forced to hold it, or has to do some crazy batshit option that's most likely gonna get him put into a combo and then her getting her resources back. So again, you just have to start strong, and if you don't, it's just really hard to come back from, especially a Sin. So that's my, yeah, overall even. Am I missing anybody? I am. Faust even. I play this matchup a fucking lot in ranked because Audreyman and Lurie just don't get off the game. But this matchup is very tricky. Faust is really tough to get around. Like, the neutral is really in Faust's favor. Like, the neutral is really bad. His normals are longish. Crawl is very tough to deal with. Getting in is just a fucking issue. But once you do, Faust has, like, hardly a reversal, and he just has to hold everything you do while having, like, lower HP. When you get a barbecue chicken, like, it feels really good. But if you can't get in, and the issue is a lot of some players can't get in, the matchup just feels so shit, and it feels like you just let him farm items, and you're just forced to get jailed on the other side of the screen, right? But yeah, no, his defense is pretty shit, so. And then I'd say Gold Lewis and Bedman. So I'll start with Gold Lewis, and then it will lead into Bedman. So I think Sin on paper should win this matchup, and he actually has in the past. Now Sin just cannot keep up with Gold Lewis' HP, dude. Like, the 6P, Sin's 6P is still amazing in the matchup, and Gold Lewis will have to, like, hold what Sin does, because Gold Lewis defense isn't the greatest thing, but Sin's lower like average damage this patch, on top of being more resource intensive, like expensive, means Gold Lewis just gets to play the game more chances, more offense, more neutral interaction, like just gets to play the game more, which is not good at all, especially for like a strong one chance character like Gold Lewis, right? Sin's defense is, I mean, it's either just hold it or you DP. Gold Lewis just does way too much damage and has way too much fucking HP for Sin to win. I think effectively it's even. Also, Sin is just horrible versus drone. He has to just hold it. Like, he doesn't have a reliable option versus drone. Like, you can't go under it. You can't go over it because it's just fucking horrible in the air. Beat driver isn't good enough. He just has to hold it. And also, to make things, it doesn't matter too much, but he does have a 6-frame invul backdash, so it allows for him to get out of some guard crush pressure situations, but it's more niche. And then Bedman. So, much like Gold Lewis, it's frustrating to fight this character because of his fucking infinite HP. Bedman doesn't have as much HP, though, when it comes to guts compared to Gold Lewis, and he doesn't do as much damage as Gold Lewis. So you get more chances to play the game if you get hit versus Bedman. But his air options are just so frustrating to interact with. I think Bedman can just easily deny you playing the game at times because of his air stalling shit, or just his air bullshit in general. But once you do get in, and you manage to play the neutral, and you manage to get it past the hard neutral, I should say, barbecue chicken, his defense is ass. Bedman's defense is just not good. Outside of 2P, I mean, his backdash is pretty slow. He just doesn't have like great options on defense. But also, unlike Gold Lewis, because you're not just forced to interact with drone, Bedman doesn't just drop a drone and force you into like RPSing and shit. You can, like, if he's shooting fireballs and you've already used your resource, you can kind of like sit back. You know, you're not really getting punished for, or like, you know, punished for like sitting there and getting your resources back before engaging again. So yeah, and I think that's pretty much it for the even. Yeah, let's go on to losing. So losing, first character I'll put in losing, Nago. I think Nago's here. I don't think he's in losing bad. Nago's tough, dude. I think overall Nago is just a strong character, so you gotta respect what he does. Sin doesn't really have anything good when it comes to playing neutral versus Nago. Like, Clone Fukio's good versus Sin, right? Like, his low blood, he's very good. He's very good versus Sin. And even at high blood, oh man, like, Sin is just so bad at getting past 2S and 5H. Like, those normals actually just kill Sin. He cannot deal with them. And even on block, the situation once blocked is also just so shit, right? You know, even like when Nago's in higher blood, Sin doesn't have like a projectile to run forward with, or he doesn't have, you know, God forbid, no one in this game has it except Happy Chaos. He can't just fucking shoot his way in, right? I mean, Nago's 5k also just beats Elkunt, which is really unfortunate for how good that normal is. I mean, his damage is insane, obviously. Just really difficult to approach in neutral. But Sin does have a good time when it comes to making Nago block once he's in high blood, because you can steamroll him, right? Like the HP modifier, right? It turns up, so he, you know, becomes more squishy. He doesn't have any crazy defensive options, so he kind of has to hold what you do. So if you're able to get your touches in, then like it's for sure winnable. It's just really hard to get past the neutral, and it's just it's just those normals, 5k, 2S, and 5H. That's what the matchup comes down to. Those normals are just so insane. Yeah, you just have to figure out how to get around those buttons while using minimal resource. So I recommend just getting good at IBing. Next up, we'll go Slayer. So originally I had Slayer in this tier, but I think I'll keep him in this tier. This matchup is really ass, man. It's not a good matchup at all. I'll explain why right now. So Slayer is very unorthodox, right? A lot of things that he does just work well versus Sin. I think the only issue Slayer really has is his dash. It's like a teleport dash. But I think it's fine versus Sin because Sin's forced to play a very basic style of neutral, right? He's a pretty vanilla bred character, not really doing anything out of the ordinary, right? He's kind of just playing straight up neutral. I think everything Sin does, like, has an answer. Like, Slayer has an answer for it. If you try to use Elkunt or try to, like, box out, you know, be safe with your 2S, you get 2H, right? I think you can pretty much just stand there as Slayer and use 5k, and it'll be anything Sin tries to do. Sin's recovery force him to, like, make sure his buttons land. If your buttons don't land, Slayer will pretty much just punish you for free due to their recovery, right? A lot of situations are just really frustrating to deal with. Yeah. Master's Hammer, you have to grab it, or you're kind of just holding it. Like, unlike some characters that are able to jump out and then punish Slayer and, like, actually convert into, like, a knockdown or a combo due to their air normals being good, Sin doesn't really have that. So it's hard to capitalize off jumping out and being right versus that move. So you have to throw it. And we all know what happens if you fuck up your throw versus Slayer, right? You kind of just die. Next, there's Hand of Doom, right? It's so frustrating to fucking play against, especially for a character that uses resource for his combos and pressure and just everything. Oh, to punish it, you have to use resources, or you just cannot make Slayer care, right? So if you've used 2 stamina, right? People don't realize, like, one of the biggest things, and I should have said this earlier as well, Sin's mashing out of someone's pressure into a combo, like 2p 6, like your standard, like if you play Kai, 2p 6p die air clap, right? Sin's is 2p 6p beak driver, and then obviously you spend the stamina for the follow-up, right? That costs stamina. So if you've used some stamina in your pressure, like, you can't make him care. I mean, who cares if you get hit by fucking beak driver in a follow-up? It's not good enough. To actually make him care, you have to spend more. So if you're running offense, you're using resource. If you don't have it, you can't make him care. Like, you just, like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna end up minus on hit as Sin. So again, just a character with this tool, like, kind of like a make me care check, like, or I'm just gonna keep fucking just doing shit. Having a resource that ties into everything you do is just it does not feel great for Slayer. On top of this, like, Slayer just does so much damage that it's hard, man. Slayer could just be as bludgeon as he fucking likes. You can't really force Slayer to respect anything you do, but I mean, yeah, Slayer does damage, you do mid damage, and you have a resource. Again, once you show, the worst thing is when you show a Slayer, you just cannot punish him. And you can't make him care, because in neutral, he's just doing all this dandy bullshit. I'm just gonna fucking go out of my way, just dandy, mappa. Oh, you handed to him backdash, I don't care, you can't punish, like, fuck off. Oh my gosh, this matchup is just tilting, man. Elfelt, let's move on. Elfelt. So, she just kind of bullies Sin in neutral for the most part. She bullies him in neutral, bullies him at full screen. She has some long buttons with similar startup to Sin's, but she forces Sin to approach her. You know, obviously with the fireball, and like things like Bridle, which can be plus depending on spacing. This means Sin has to approach typically, like I said. So I don't know, the normals and the fireball are just good. And then there's the fucking bomb toss. So since 6P and DP will not catch the bomb toss, right? Like the bomb flip move. So that means he has to go out of his way to try to counter it. And 5P is not reliable as you think at beating that move. It beats us at some spacings, but at others it just gets smoked. So it's not reliable enough. So Sin has to then leave the ground, and Sin in the air is the worst character in the game. So he has to go out of his way to counter this move, and so this leaves him more open to things like Rekka. So overall, it's not the worst thing ever, but she also has a 4-frame mash, so it's just adds on top of it. So overall, I just think he just gets bullied in the neutral too hard. So losing. Next up is Chip, I think. So frustrating matchup to play, kind of like Millia and Geo in a way. Chip just has a really good time punishing you for anything you try to do. Sin also has a difficult time making like Chip hold anything he does because of his jump and, you know, having a DP. I think Chip's pressure and his movement is much easier for Sin to deal with than a character like Millia and Geo. So I think like Elcunt can be used versus Chip. I think, you know, obviously it's going to get your pressure started as well, and so Chip does have to look out for it. Chip leaving the ground is also just easier for Sin to pin down than like Millia because, you know, his JK hits at a good angle versus Chip. And then Chip also does have low HP, so the round it's never technically over, and it lets Sin be a little more belligerent with his resource, right? But yeah, the neutral's ass. And the next one, the Sin player's gonna hate me for this, but Biken's here. I know most fucking Sin players think she's here. She's here. This matchup comes down to two things. So Biken is strong in buttons. It makes it hard for Sin to play versus them, but she doesn't dominate the neut. She just makes it so Sin has to respect what she's doing in neutral, like with her buttons. The issue comes down to Sin running offense. The multi-hitting normals Biken can just like look out for, right, with the guard crush parry. Even outside of pressure, he struggles to get around, like actually getting it started, like on her wake up, because he doesn't have like a projectile to like meaty for him. So it's also just difficult to anti-air Biken as well. I think I'll mention this in a bit because I'll do Bridget after this, but when Biken ends her turn, it feels hard for Sin to get his turn back. His P normals are too stubby, and his slash normals are just too slow. So he doesn't really have that middle balance. So it's hard for Sin to safely take his turn back. Also, she has a 4-frame mash, which is pretty hard to deal with at times. But I mean, she has parry. This matchup becomes really hard when the Biken player just stops giving a fuck and they start doing like slash on wake up Yozansen, because they know you don't have the fucking tools to deal with it. So yeah, Biken here. And then Bridget. So this matchup, man. So this matchup is similar to Testament, where it's just the neutral is just really ass. Like the zoning is just, her full screen presence is just really hard to deal with. Sin can get his touches in though versus Bridget. The big issue is like she just plays so lame and forces Sin to approach. It doesn't seem all that bad, but Bridget is just so good at full screen versus him. Her buttons are just faster. They're longer than his, faster than his. Bridget also like has ways to get around Sin's options, like Bridget's roll going over Elcunt, for example, and then Sin playing like somewhat basic neutral like I mentioned, so it kind of forced him to play safe with his buttons. Roller skates becomes a lot easier to skip the screen with versus Sin because, again, slower boxes, lingering hurt boxes. Overall, just setting up the yo-yo is just really good versus Sin. She also has a DP, you know, she safe jumps out the ass. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when you want to press a button, your buttons are either just too stubby or too slow. So it's like kind of like Biken. It's kind of hard to take your turn back at times. 5P and 6P are decent versus some options, but typically Sin has to block a lot more than the average character versus Bridget. Like a lot. You have to just hold a lot. You have to be comfortable holding. Let's see. Any other characters I want in this tier? One more. There's one more character in this tier. Eno. Eno is here. So, dude, Eno is like the hardest character for Sin to fucking pin down in this game, man. Like, Sin's her hitboxes are just way too fucking thin to catch anything that she's doing, right? They're not like these fat ass red boxes. They're really skinny. So it's just hard to catch her. Like any like dive kick or just, oh man, just anything she does, it's such a good approach, and it's just so hard for Sin to counter. Her normals are good. Her 2S is insanely good versus Sin. She has some decent disjoints on the normals. The round start is really frustrating to play. The only thing Sin has going for him is that Eno doesn't have anything too special on defense, but slow buttons just feel so shitty Like, slow buttons and extended hurt boxes just feel so shitty versus Eno, man. Just, oh man, the neutral is just so fast. But yeah, I think that's it for this tier. Let's move on to the next. First character we'll start with Dizzy. I think this matchup is fucking trash, dude. Oh my gosh, this matchup. Dizzy, man, Dizzy. The goal is to not even let her get started, man. She kind of does whatever she wants. So you cannot lose round start because your options on ice floor are so fucking bad. There's nothing she does that Sin is able to shut down. You have no full screen presence versus character. Your standard approach is fucking garbage to do the ice floor and just like her fireball. He's forced to jump, and as I've said before, Sin is the worst in the air. She has good buttons that go pretty farther than Sin's actually. Sin's forced to use a resource on the ice or he will just get punished. So imagine this. So when you're running pressure on ice, you're sliding into it, right? You're moving forward. And so what happens is if you've already used some of your resource like Gazelle or Empty Gazelle, or you've ran pressure and then you get hit and you sent back full screen, and let's say you take your turn, right? Like you somehow get your turn back. You have to have resource or you're just minus and you just get punished, right? 2D's minus, since 2D's not safe enough, right? You have to run, like imagine this. You don't do beat driver, you're minus 20 on, okay, I don't know the exact number, you're minus like 20 on beat driver, you're minus on hit on L count, you're minus on hit on the overhead, you're minus hit on beat driver, right? So on block, these things are also just punishable. So you have to spend the resource for the guard crush or your turn essentially just ends. You cannot run, you are just so bad on ice versus character. You don't have misfinder, you don't have anything like that, you don't have, you don't have dash misfinder, you don't have, just these absurd full screen safe or plus on block things that just have, you can't really punish her once the ice floor gets going. Sin is just really, really bad on ice. Also, she builds so much resource that like by the time you get in, she will already have the resources to get you off of her. So all your strengths are just hard to see because you're just spending so much time getting past her shit. If you do manage to win round start, you can try to snowball, but the issue is she has 5 guts, so it's a little harder, but overall, she doesn't have infinite HP. The guts factor is just a little annoying to deal with, but yeah. Next, let's go Geo. This match was fucking trash. So round start is bad. You either do 2D or you just back off. You cannot let her get started at all. The neutral is just terrible. Sin is whiff, obviously like Chip. She sees you whiff and boom, you just zoom in. She'll just teleport in and punish you. Your defensive mash is bad and gets low profiled by her 2K. So this means on defense, you're forced to use your 2K, which is 6-frame mash. After 2K, his options are, obviously 2K 2D, but it's not the most consistent thing in the world at times. Can whiff. But even after 2K 2D, like the overhead, your overhead, so your 2D is -7, so you'll get punished if you don't do anything. 2K 2D overhead loses to her 2K. It loses to Elk. And if you delay Beak, it will lose to the 2K as well. So you have to be ready to spend resource. And obviously you can 6P the Beak after 2K 2D. More RPS though, but whatever. Yeah, you just have to use stamina when you after the Beak, or you just get kind of just punished and just die. She also has a 4-framer, and on top of that, she's fucking short. So 5P and 6P you just whiff a lot of the times versus her. If you do 2K 6H on defense, not doing 2D, you do 6H. It loses to 2K. It is so bad. You have to be right literally 100% of the time. That is the only way to win this matchup. And only on top of this, she also has a 4-framer. Her 5P is a 4-framer. So your best frame trap is gone. The post block 6K situation is fine, but still having a 4-framer is good. Yeah, close slash 6K being gone is just, dang, just fucking shit. 5K 6H being gone as well, man, just so bad, man. But yeah, you're forced to use 5H more in your pressure for the block stun, but then what you're doing just becomes more telegraphed. It's just really hard to play around everything she does. Again, the only thing you do is just be right 100% of the time. That's truly it. That's my advice. Just read her mind. Read the player's mind. That's it. Next up, we'll go with Testament. So, a zoning matchup, so it's difficult for Sin to deal with. Sin must get in. No excuses. You have to get in or you lose. You must approach them. But so then it becomes a question, how does Sin get in? I don't fucking know. You have to scramble for your life. And it's very awkward the way you do it. It's you have to flip over fucking mountains and do miracle backflips to get a crumb of pressure going. Sin's horrible hurt boxes don't do him any justice in this matchup as well. It just, everything you do just fucking loses to what they do, or will just trade with what they do. And, or you'll get, so you'll either, like, you'll get sent full screen again, or you'll just get put in pressure. Or sometimes both. It's ass. You have to deal with Guard Crush YRC now as well, so when you get in, boom. And the way they play, they just build so much resource. By the time you actually get in, they have the resource to get them off you, right? Yeah, if you burst the Testament and you do not put them smack down in the corner, on their ass in the corner for your burst, you waste it and you probably lost. You have to put him in the corner. That's it. If you don't, GG's. The only thing Sin can do is sometimes snowball. Very rarely will he get the chance. Like winning round start, again, kind of like Dizzy. You have to like try to win it. But if you lose, it feels so bad. Yeah, but Tess doesn't have the greatest defensive option. So again, if you're able to start early and get going, you can get something going. But like Sin, like what does Sin do? Like their 2H is just so broken versus Sin. It beats everything. It beats everything he does. Like what does Sin do versus 2H? What does Sin do versus Grave Reaper? He just doesn't have the answers for these moves. His hurt boxes don't allow him to have the answer. You just trade, you lose, you get some full screen. His air to ground buttons are, like I said, are ass. And this character has the best 6P in the game and a low recovery fireball that's fast and takes up a lot of space. Just beats, counter hits and beats everything you do. So matchup's ass, matchup's ass. And then Milia goes here as well. Pixie character, similar to Geo, but instead of being so dominant on the ground, Milia is dominant in the air, right? Sin is a decent anti-air for characters that are like diagonally in front of him. But versus characters like Milia that can just put herself anywhere on the screen, it's really bad for Sin. Capel beats anything you do. You have to outright call it out or prepare to block what comes after. And if you do call it out and you fail, you're the worst character in the air, like I've mentioned, air to ground. So you're now in the air and she's on the ground and you don't have anything to fall on her with, right? So you're just, it's horrible. It's a free pressure starter for her. Once again, like even if you get like lucky and you're able to hit her out of the air a couple times, she also is dominant and beats you on the ground. You know, like I mentioned, Sin has big hurt boxes with laggy slow buttons. Her far slash just stomps him. Her 2K, low profiles, and will beat anything you do on the ground except your own 2K. So good luck playing K button neutral with Milia. Good luck, dude. She has a 4-frame match as well, so it's very good. Only reason this matchup is not Doom tier is because her HP and because Milia does technically have to get close at times. And you can't also burst her in a bad spot, so it's, yeah, those are the only reasons not Doom tier. Last character in this tier, Potemkin. Pot is Pot, man. Like, I don't even want to talk about this character. Like, Pot is Pot, bro. We know he's broken. It's hard for Sin to deal with some of his moves like Flick and 5H, right? The only thing that hits that far is Beak, so it's kind of hard to like gauge the distance at times. If you do hit Pot, he just so much HP. It's like Gold Lewis. You're kind of just healing him at times. He has too much health for Sin to really do anything too well in the matchup. Too much damage, best DP punish in the game. Just a risk reward matchup and Sin gets blown out. I mean, you just build him so much meter, and with meter Pot, it's just so fucking stupid. Like, I don't know how you lose this Pot. Like, I don't get it, man. Long grounded backdash for Sin. I mean, like, you know, makes it a little harder to avoid grab backdash, BRC, whatever. The armor on Pot Buster is one of the main issues as well. Like, if Sin does Hoof or Elk after some normals, then Pot could just fucking yoink him out of it because of the armor. It just turns our advantage into a losing situation, and it just feels shit. Risk reward matchup, and you fucking heal him by hitting him. It's not great. And then Leo and Happy Chaos for these. Man, oh man. Where do I start? Let's start with Leo, and then I'll go to Happy Chaos. Fuck these characters, man. Especially Happy Chaos. Okay, Leo. This character, Leo, has no downsides versus Sin. It does just as much damage, if not better. Fireball, you cannot go over, and you also cannot go under it. A flash kick, and Sin just does not have gapless offense, right? It's very prone to DP. Playing around the DP is just so fucking hard. Leo does not care about your DP though. Like he has ways to get around it. He doesn't fucking gaff, right? From, you know, having shit with back turn to having a safe jab, he doesn't really care. Also, guard the fucking guard point, you have to hold it. Like, since 2S isn't a low, so it's already useless for this guard point, but even if it was a low, it's too damn slow to even deal with it. So it's out the window, it's not a low. But the only thing you have is 2H or Elk. 2D is not good enough. So you have 2H or Elk, and 2H is not good. So you have to use Elk, but Elk is slow and gets smoked and loses to the guard point like attack. And that's not it. It also loses to back turn P, it loses to back turn K obviously, and it loses to back turn S. And obviously loses to the parry as well. So, and you can't go under his fireball either. So it's just, Elk is just useless. He just has such a hard time fighting Leo. Yeah, just such a bad matchup. Leo also just has so much HP. So like, you know, the Sin nerfs, his average damage just being lower just hits harder. Like, Sin can deadass have 80% HP and Leo has 20, and it doesn't even matter, bro. Like, it's matchup is a wash. And lastly, Happy Chaos. I don't even need to talk about this character, man. Like, he's Happy Chaos, bro. Like, he's been the best character for the longest time. Like, he's been in the top 3 for about 5 years now, man. Where do I even start? Like, Happy Chaos doesn't even have to approach Sin, right? Like, you could just run your shit and then just, like, wait for Sin to use it. Like, even when Sin gets started off, it's like, just wait for him to use his shit and then just YRC or just mash, whatever. You'll have the resources to get out of it. Burst him, just fuck him over. The neutral is literally fucking, it's just ass. Sin's reward is just garbage. Matchup is lame. There's no upsides to it, man. Sin is just horrible at approaching him. I mean, his reward is just shit. I don't really, there's no upsides. I mean, even with AC, like, AC could just jump and fuck over Sin because J2K is broken. Again, Sin is just horrible with characters that are directly above him. I mean, yeah, like, he gets his resources back for free and you can't get yours back. So you just can't make him care. It's so weird. Like, the only flaw Happy Chaos had before was YRC. You could YRC him, and that was a legitimate weakness you could argue Happy Chaos had before last patch. You would YRC him and get your turn started. And some characters post YRC were just so strong. Now they just fucking threw that shit out the window. You burst Happy Chaos, you lose. He burst you, put the fucking controller down. You YRC him, put the fucking controller down. He YRCs you, it doesn't matter. He just wins on anything. He just wins. I don't understand how people lose this matchup. I mean, I don't get it. I truly am just fucking baffled by how people can lose this matchup. It doesn't make sense. I mean, like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? Win from defense versus Happy Chaos? It's not like Ram, where she has clear deep healable gaps. You can't get out of Happy Chaos offense, dude. You're forced to YRC. Like, you're forced to burst. He wins from that. It's a win from defense. Also, not to mention his 2P beats both Elk Hunt and Hoof Stomp at the same fucking time. What? I mean, he back throws you, he wins. Like, he just wins. Like, he just literally wins off everything. Like, he breaks the wall, he gets all of his resources back. Oh, he can't run pressure because no safe jump? Oh, I have a fucking gun. I don't need a safe jump, dude. There is no light in this matchup. It is absolutely horrible. It is fucking horrible to play. Thankfully, Jack doesn't lose this matchup, but like, oh my gosh, man, this matchup is just so shit. But yeah, with that, outside of that, yeah, this is my matchup chart. I want to hear everyone's opinion. Maybe I missed something, or maybe there's some insight you have that maybe I don't know about for some of the characters or one of the characters that you play. Please let me know in the comment section. Thanks everyone for watching Nerf Happy Chaos, and God bless you guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.